Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you guys back to TalkHere podcast. Remember, not every wound is visible. I am glad gore ke boya gape ke dulele lena fatshe mo ke gore re tle re engage taba tša bophelo. I am your host, Tsepo Marara Leskela Lebala. I'm sure you guys are already starting to get used to see me on the screens, eh? Well, today's topic will be very interesting. Remember, we are still on finances. Finances, guys. Finances get we need to talk about it. We should not shy away from it. Eh? Finances are very important, guys, whether it's in the household, whether it's in your marriages, whether it's in your families, your workplace, everywhere. We know what na tšhelete bana ke yona ye re drivang and then ke yona ye re phelang le yona. And of course, you know that I can do this job. Kili one. I always have to have someone who dula le nna in studio. Today's guest, Mr. Nsako, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, man?
I'm well, man. I'm well, man. Can you
I'm
just
good.
give us a short introduction of who Mr. Nsako is and what does Mr. Nsako do and specialize in?
All right. Firstly, I just want to appreciate the opportunity to come here to speak to you. I really appreciate being called up. You could have called so many people, but I was the one that was called. That's truly an honor. Thank you very much. Okay, so my name is NTSAKO MOELE. I work for the best bank in Africa. I'm an advisor there. And then I studied financial management. The bug bit me. The financial bug bit me when I was in high school. Came across a book, Barki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that book just changed the whole way that I see money and my behavior towards money, and it has made me into the person that I am today. Even when I went to school, and unlike many people, I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I just wanted to be in finance.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly what I'm going to do in finance, but I just want to know more about money because I think money is a very important tool. Everything revolves around money.
Yeah.
So I
True.
just wanted to learn more and more and more about money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my knowledge has brought me here today, and then I'm really blessed to have the opportunity to give it out to people, and also in my job to advise people how to better manage, protect, and grow their money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that is me in a nutshell.
I wonder what your bank account is looking like. But hey, let's leave that one out, man.
Yeah.
You know, just to kickstart the conversation,
Yes.
many families or marriages or households out there, they find it way too easy to talk about a lot of things. But when it comes
Yeah.
to money,
Yeah.
it's difficult for one.
It's quite difficult
Yeah.
to speak about it. Yeah. And I think that's something we need to avoid speaking about, because I think most of the time we avoid the money conversation because money is very personal. Money is very sensitive. Money controls our emotions. So yeah, it's really important for us to talk about it because it's very central to everything that we're doing. If we have better conversations around money, then it can help us. It can help us to budget better. It can help us to stop assuming. It can also help with transparency. For example,
Yeah.
as a kid, you're asking your parent for something and they say, "I don't have money."
Yeah.
Now go, it was PD my one, and then you don't understand.
Yeah.
But if, as a parent, you are open to my child to say, "Horinge, I'm earning this much and I want to do this much. I want to save this much for your school and for your for whatever."
Yeah.
Then it becomes easier for the child when you say, "No, I don't have money to buy you this sneaker. I don't have money to buy you whatever." So
Yeah.
it really helps to be transparent and honest, and then to avoid assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be avoided. A money conversation is very important between families, between households, because it's in everything that we do.
Yeah.
So we can't shy away from that topic.
I remember back in the days when I used to be in school. I got
Yes.
now I'm working now.
Yeah.
I'm a family man now. I'm a husband. I'm a father.
Oh, that's good.
I used to not understand when my dad would come and tell me that he doesn't have money.
Mm.
Like I wanted something, and then I'd go and ask him, and then he'd tell me that he doesn't have money.
Yeah, he
Now I'm
doesn't have
working.
money.
Now
You
I'm experiencing it
understand.
myself.
Yes.
No, that guy was not wrong, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy was not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are earning, but then the money it already has its own commitments.
Yeah, it already has
So
its own
it really
yeah.
helps to be transparent to your kids. to say, my kid, I don't have money because I've saved this much for you.
Mm.
I'm saving this much so that I can buy you clothes in December.
Mm.
I'm saving this much so that I can give you an education. I'm paying maybe this much for the house.
Mm.
When the parent is open to you about their finances, you as the child, you're also more understanding.
Mm.
Then you can understand when they say, I don't have money.
Mm.
But because it was such a taboo, we didn't speak about
Yeah.
it then. It's like, this guy doesn't want to buy me
Mm.
this Air Force One. He doesn't want to buy me this Cavella.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mara, at what age do you think, as a child, you would be able to understand, dad is trying to communicate to me about money?
I wouldn't say there is a specific age,
Mm.
but as a parent, I would think when the moment you decide to give your child pocket money, you decide to give your child money for anything, that would be maybe around 6 years to 7 years
Mm.
when they are in primary or so.
Mm.
So that's where the money chat needs to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there when you start giving your child 10 ranta or a tuck shop or reka 1 2 3,
Mm.
the conversations to start there.
Mm.
You talk a budgeting conversation. You start a savings conversation. Teach the child how to be responsible with money. Even if they want something else, for example, they want shoes. When they want shoes, you say, no, okay, my child, I see you want this kind of a shoe. I'm giving you 100 rand per week.
Mm.
Try to save up half of that shoe and I'll bring in half of that shoe. You're teaching the child responsibility. You're teaching the child to save for what they want, as opposed to the child saying, I want this, and then you just give them like that. It makes it difficult for them to realize the value of money. They don't know how budgeting would work. They wouldn't know how savings work. So if you start doing those things from a young age, I believe we're taking steps in the right direction.
No, man, true that, true that. Now, one thing that I've realized, ne, kore, these young ones, eba boya dikolong, they would come back wanting their parents to buy them dilochelo body boni from the other kids at school. And you find, the saying, "Yor malapa a lekane," which is true.
That's true. That's true.
So now, my daughter, actually, I'm going to give an example about my daughter. My daughter would come back, and then there was this one time she came back, and then she said, "Yeah, she wants an iPhone 17." Or what's it like an iPhone 17? I don't know.
Yeah,
And she's 6 years, you
yeah,
understand? Mara,
yeah.
you know what Batlali feel on these people.
Yes,
So
that is true.
yeah,
That is true.
how would it affect the household or family mindset? Because some of them might feel worry this kid is bringing in some sort of competition, and maybe Ozama to one chak on or this is the level of the family imoki financially.
With that one, that is a bit difficult, but how I would answer is that's where, as a parent, you need to teach a needs and wants a conversation. You need to have a needs and wants conversation whereby your child knows what are needs, what are things that are needed in order to survive, and what are things that we can survive without. So if you instill those values or give your children that knowledge, ya horeng, this we need, this we don't need, then even when they see other things, okay, no, the needs and wants, and also being transparent with your finances as a parent. Because now, if the child knows your goals and knows how much that iPhone is, he would know, horeng, no, I'm affecting daddy's plans. Daddy might not be able to save up for this because this phone is going to cause so much strain. And then it will also be easier to turn your child down to say, horeng, we don't need this thing. It's just a want. You still have a fully functional phone. You don't need an iPhone.
Yeah, true.
Because you still have your nice Samsung or your iPhone 8 if it's still there.
True.
So it all depends on, you see, it goes back to that transparency, having transparency between you and your children, and then also teaching them about needs and wants to know, horeng, I need this, I want that. I need this, I want that.
Yeah. What are some common mistakes families make when they don't communicate about money?
The common mistakes is that there's assumption. You assume, horeng, there's money, Kanti, there isn't money. You know,
Yeah.
that's a mistake because we didn't communicate about money.
Yeah.
For example, you didn't know what your dad had plans, what your dad's plans were with that money. And then
Yeah.
here Rana Cheleto Wanakaringi Ubifalo and like Alishapo and Aliena,
Yeah.
So it's a mistake that they're making. And also budgeting is not spoken about enough. Budgeting is really important because it gives an idea, re na le plan ya hore this is what we're doing, this is what we're working towards.
Yeah.
So then it helps us to spend our money better. We avoid reckless spending or unnecessary spending
Yeah.
when we have a plan and the whole family knows what the plan is and we are working towards this thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Now, just to add on that question, because I wanted to also know
Mm.
the habits.
Mm.
What habits helps families to be financially responsible or financially healthy?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the very first one is communication. I can't stress communication enough because in everything that works, be it at work, whatever company that you're working for, communication is the only thing that's going to make you guys successful. If your supervisor is clear communication, and then the staff will know what to do.
Yeah.
In business, if you are running a company, if your staff know directly what they need to do, then they're going to perform because everything has been communicated clearly and directly.
Yeah.
So even when it comes to finances in the family, if everything is communicated, we know Horingi, this is what we are planning, this is where we are going,
Yeah.
and then we have a budget. Another thing that we need to have is communication, then it's budgeting. Budgeting, it helps us with our planning. We know where we are going, we know what the plan is.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now, how does our childhood
Mm.
affect our how does our childhood experiences shape our financial behavior now?
Yeah, you see, childhood, ke foundation, if we're putting it straight, ke foundation, and we all know that a strong foundation, it lo tshwara ntlo e holo, and a weak foundation, it might be difficult to keep the house standing.
Yeah.
So because of the way that we grew up, our foundation to and our beliefs towards money, because we weren't taught about money. So when we have money, it becomes difficult for us to know how to use it. Or if we were to go back to our previous topic, ke horeng there was no clear communication at the foundation where we started. There was never a budgeting conversation, there was never a saving conversation, we were never taught how to be responsible with money. And so that played a role in how we spend our monies now.
Yeah.
But for us now and the generation that is coming, if we have those conversations with our kids while they're still young at the foundation phase, they will grow up knowing how to behave around money.
Yeah.
They will
Yeah.
grow up knowing how to behave with money.
Yeah.
When they have money, they know I need to save, I need to do this, I need to do that. They become more responsible. But because earlier on we were not taught about that, then it became difficult. But when as we are younger, it's very important that we lay that foundation around money, have that money conversation, be transparent about money.
Yeah.
That is the only way I think it will help us.
What does financial freedom mean to you?
Oh, financial freedom.
Yeah.
I'm chasing that. I'm chasing that. Financial freedom means having to do whatever I want to do at whatever time that I want to do without money being a problem. I can go wherever I want and then the money is still there. If I want to go to this place, I can go there. I don't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
If I want to drive this car, I can drive this car and I don't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swipe fela,
Swipe fela, o sa lebelele, bona ntho nngwe le nngwe ke e nyakang ke no e tšea. That is financial freedom.
Yeah.
If I want to sleep the whole day, I can sleep the whole day.
Not having to wake up to someone's call.
No. That is financial.
Earlier on, just before off camera,
Yes.
we had a small conversation, a very interesting conversation of multiple streams of income, and you were giving out advices as to how one can increase their capacity and not just focus on their monthly salaries or how to overcome stagnation as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
just want us to bring it on camera since we are on
Okay.
camera now.
All right. No, that's
And
good. That's good.
there's someone out there who's looking for some sort of advice.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even have. I wouldn't say they don't have resources because your salary is the first resource for
Yes.
you to
Yes.
open up.
Yes.
Yeah, some of those doors. So
Yeah. That is true. That is true. So, um, multiple streams of income. I just like to divide it into four quadrants, Okay,
yeah,
so those who know Robert Kiyosaki very well, I got this from him. He has a book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. Even the Rich Dad Poor Dad that I spoke about is by the
yeah,
same author. So there is four income streams, which is the E, S, B, and I. E being that you are an employee, you're getting money from your employer as a salary.
okay,
Then you have the S, whereby you are self-employed, you're running a side hustle, so to say. And then you have B, and then B, which is a big business, a business that can operate without you even being there. Then
okay,
we have the I, which is the investment, right? So we have to look at it this way. If you are standing and you're standing on one leg
yeah,
and we push you, you're most definitely going to fall,
yeah,
right? So if you are relying on your salary as an employee,
yeah,
then you are standing on one leg. You lose the job, you're going to fall,
yeah,
right? So you just need to increase your streams of income, right? The best way that you can do it as you are starting, that I can suggest, is that as you are earning your money as an employee,
yeah,
you need to invest in something that is going to give you interest, right? For example, you buy yourself a property, right? So the people who do these things at best are doctors, right? Let me just go there.
yeah,
Doctors do it best, the four quadrants. For example, a doctor is employed by a hospital, getting a salary there,
yeah,
and then he has a side hustle whereby he's running his own private practice. That's money in the S, and then he has maybe an investment property whereby he's getting money coming in
mm,
every month without him even being there, and then he probably has another business. He has another business. Maybe he bought TLBs that he put in the mine. He bought
yeah,
whatever. Those are also operating without his presence there. So it's really important for us when we are starting off from that. We're building from that from our employers. We're
mm,
building from there.
mm,
So how you could do it: you earn your salary, you buy your investment property, you get money from that. You start your own side hustle. I believe you have a cleaning company. You
yeah,
start
yeah,
with that. That's where you start with your side hustle. Then you do your cleaning company. You build systems for it to
mm,
operate without you. Then it becomes a B, and then you can move on to other things.
mm,
You see, so that's where the income streams, multiple income streams are very
yeah,
important, because also you need to grow as fast as inflation, or even more than inflation is growing, because prices are going to go up. They're never going down. We can complain about petrol all we like,
mm,
it's still going to go up.
mm,
So we don't want a situation whereby we are complaining about petrol and my kids are going to complain about petrol,
mm,
and my kids. No, 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 no. We can't have
mm,
that. So we
mm,
need to grow fast.
mm,
As the petrol price increase, my income also needs to increase, and
yeah,
should go with it, because it's very unfortunate whereby prices are increasing but the salary remains the same.
that's other, yeah,
you
yeah,
know
aish,
so you need to take initiative. You need to step up for yourself and say,
mm,
I need to invest, I need to get more income
mm,
getting in, I need to have more money in
mm,
than money out.
mm.
Yeah.
Increase your capacity.
Increase,
Yeah,
increase.
because I think most of what I've seen actually about people who are employed,
Yeah.
the excitement of getting a job, of signing
Mm,
that contract,
mm,
you are permanently employed.
mm.
You are going to be earning 40K per month.
Ah,
And
ratena.
don't you think a lot of people who are in Fetu Batoma will relax from then? Or no, that
Yes,
means
ke
this is the end of the
sharp.
world.
Mm,
Mos nka ka lata polo GTI, nka ka
mm,
lata flat go tlo peneng ya 10,000 a ke go
mm,
selo
mm,
wa ngwisha.
mm.
I think baba comfortable to a point whereby they forget there's more opportunities which are way bigger than their
Uh,
jobs
Then the
or
job,
the
yeah,
salary that they are earning
yeah,
on Gwisha. So
yeah.
how do you think they should shift their mindset and see, like, think outside of the box?
Mm, Mm. So with that, you need to be a visionary, you know.
Mm.
You can't be a now person, you can't be a today person. You must be a 10-year person. You must be looking at what the future, you should plan for your future.
Mm.
Yes, I know. So that's why when the job comes, you know that you need to split it so that it can grow for you, you know, it
Yeah.
can make your life much better. You know, yes, now you have the job, you didn't have a job before, but then you need to live below your means or live within your means, not go above your means, you know. So
Yeah.
with that 40,000 that you are earning, you need to split it. You know, you can't be using the whole 40,000 when you get it.
Mm.
You know, you can't be using the whole 40,000. You need to separate it. The best way is what we call the 50/30/20 rule, whereby 50% of the money that you get is focused on your needs. It focused on the things that you need to survive. And then you have 30% for your wants, and then 20% for your investments.
Mm.
You know, things that are going to help your money and
Mm.
income to grow, right? So then that is where living within or below your means comes in.
Mm.
You know, if the 50% is 20,000, and then that 20,000 should cover your rent, should cover your car,
Mm.
should cover your groceries, it should cover your whatevers,
Mm.
everything like that, you know. So if you can't stay, if that 20,000 means that you're not staying at Kloppenheim, so be it. But you know, Horing, you have a long-term goal of
Mm.
achieving 1, 2, 3,
Mm.
you know. And then also, if you're living below your means, it gives you better um, 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 capacity so that you can borrow money, you know, to do whatever it is that you want to do, you know, because you still have cash flow lying around, you have investments, so it's
Mm.
easier for you to get loans and start businesses,
Yeah.
get loans, maybe your home loans for your rental property and stuff like that.
So basically, batho ba kimfethu ba na le opportunity ya gore ba ka grow mara
Yes, yes, yes,
a ba e
yes.
bone, ne?
You know,
Or ba e
because
bona, they are just ignoring it.
salary is very important, and I think batho ba bantši ba nyatša salary,
Ba nyatša
wa bona?
salary,
Ba e
yeah.
nyatša salary. Salary is your base, that's where you start.
Mm.
Salary ke yone e tlo o bulelang ditsela, you
Mm.
know. Yes, you'd hear on social media about, hey, school, school is very important.
Mm.
School gets you that first job, but then what you do from there, it's up to you.
It's up to you,
You know,
sure.
because there are people who started the same job earning
Mm.
that 40K, but Omungwena, he's retired now because he has his businesses, he has his investments running. And then when you are there 20 years later, earning and crying for an increase, hey, our
Eish.
money is not increasing.
Eish,
Hey, what,
Joe. Yo.
so, but if you have these ideas and if you build these systems,
Mm.
then Luena, you'll be able to retire,
Mm.
o relaxitse, o sa jaha, wa ja
Mm.
tjhelete ya hao.
Mm.
Because now there are people ba dutse ba emetse hore yo 55 e fithaneng e ke no retire,
Eish.
you know,
Mm.
and that's really not a nice feeling.
Mm.
So to remain in control, it's better to build your own systems.
Mm.
You build your own systems, and then you can have freedom to do what you want to do.
Mm. What are your top 5 financial tips for a household?
Top 5 financial tips. The first one, communication. Communication. We need to talk about money. We need to have the money conversation, you know.
Mm.
We really need to have the money conversation. And then number 1 is to build an emergency fund. Yeah? I mean, that's number 2, right? Number 2 is to build an emergency fund. An emergency fund is money that you have saved up in case when you're starting, you lose your job.
Yeah.
You need to have money whereby it can last you or sustain you for the next 3 to 6 months, you know, so that you don't completely fall, you know. So you need to have an emergency fund for that. Or if something happens to you or your car breaks down and stuff like that, you can use that money without having to go into unnecessary debt. O tlo dira di-loan, you go to the best bank ever, no, you don't qualify, and then you feel like the world is against you, you know. So you need to have an emergency fund so that you can sustain yourself after that.
Yeah.
Number 3, I would say live below your means. I believe I just explained it now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
live below your means, have that 50/30/20 rule, And then the next one I'd say is to have a budget. You need to budget around that 50-30-20 rule.
Yeah.
Say you're getting your 40,000, 20,000 is for your needs, 5,000 is for rent, 4,000 is for your car,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then for your wants, you are saving up for, say you wanna go to Cape Town.
Mm.
That's where, if you want to do that, you do that. Or if you want to go to restaurants, you go to your restaurants. If you want to buy yourself nice shoes, it's that. And then you have your savings and investments. So your savings and investments, you can be saving money for your education.
Mm.
You're saving money to go on a trip. You're saving money and in investing in shares also, so that you can get your dividends.
Mm.
So I actually like to separate that 20% your savings and investments into 10-10,
Mm.
whereby 10 goes to shares and investing, and then others is just to save. And then after that, you need to insure yourself. Insurance, I believe insurance is very important. Having your funeral cover, having your life cover, insuring your car, insuring your house, because those are expenses that will catch you off guard. Someone dies today, and then it's your responsibility to bury them. You found out or that person didn't have a funeral cover, didn't have anything. Now it becomes your responsibility. And I know you are you vendor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no in vendor now. Yeah. The funerals there.
Hey, man, top class.
Top
The
class
funeral looks like a
funerals,
wedding.
So those funerals, so you need to be prepared for that, because it's an
Yeah.
expense that will catch you off guard. So, but if you are insured, then when that thing comes, you have peace of mind. No, I'm going to claim for from my insurer. They're going to give me this, and then life goes on. You get into a car accident, you can claim from your insurer. They fix it for you. Lamborghini, and then
Yeah.
then third party insurance can cover you. Your house gets broken into, a fire starts, whatever, you are protected. You insure yourself against those expenses that can come about unexpected, right? And then the next one, it is to protect and grow your income. We have touched on this a lot.
Yeah.
You protect your income, and you need to grow your income. You must always be thinking of a new way to make money, to increase your pocket, because whether you like it or not, prices are going to increase. You can't stop them. All you can do is to prepare. You need to prepare yourself for them, and to grow with the prices as they go up. Low, and now your pocket is going up. That is the only way that we're going to make it in this thing.
So now, what advice can you give to someone? Because I believe there are people. You just talked about insurance, the life cover, the funeral cover, stuff like that. I've got to realize, and check it out, there's a lot of people who are actually reversing those things. And then they feel like the lapse di cancela, but when I cover because of debt. There's a lot of people who are under debt. There's mona going more on debit order is not saying reverse away bush. You understand? So what advice can you give to someone who's in that situation, and how would you advise them to get out of it, to get their life in order? Because I think it's important. The insurance that you have just mentioned is way too important. But some of them I know, or they might give you a reason, or I can't afford. I'm under a lot of debt, so it's best for me to reverse this one. But they don't know what it affect.
Yeah. So this whole thing, it lies on discipline. It lies on discipline. I think another point that I forgot to mention under those tips is to manage your debt. How you manage your debt, there's good debt and then there's bad debt. You need to know whether the debt that you're taking is good or is bad. For example, there's debt that I hate. It's clothing debt. I don't like that, because there's lay-by for a reason. You can lay by, you put money into that thing, you're still going to get that same shoe. But then you get into debt for it, and then now you have to pay for it, or you miss a payment, or you are reversing your debit orders, and then it just affects the whole thing about your credit. So usually my advice is that when you're taking up credit, you shouldn't be the one paying for it. When you take credit, you shouldn't be the one paying for it. This is how you are going to make sure Whatever credit that you take is going to come back from a different source. What do I mean by that? You're taking out a home loan, that's credit, but who's paying for it? The guy who's going to be your tenant. You're buying a
Yes.
car, or you're taking a loan, you're investing in your business. Your business is the one that's going to be paying for it. So that's good credit in my eyes. Bad credit is credit on things that I don't really need, or things that I can lay by or save up for and get it. Things like a home loan. How long will I have to save in order to buy a 1 million house?
Yeah.
That's a long time. So we need to prioritize the insurance. Insurance needs to be prioritized, because if you cancel it and say you can't afford it, I mean, that's maybe 200 rand or 250. And then now when the wedding comes, or I mean, the funeral comes, I'm thinking vendor now.
Are you getting married,
No,
Brazil?
no, not anytime soon. But hey, when the funeral comes, you need now to spend 250K.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money, so you need to prioritize that. And the way how you can get out of debt now, you need to pay the one that has more interest first. You need to pay that one first, and then you work your way down through all of them. You need to clean up that debt. You're paying the high interest bearing ones, but don't cancel your insurance. That's what I can say, because when that day comes, you're going to miss. You're going to remember that credit. I mean, that insurance, and you're gonna come to us for credit, and then right now we say we don't qualify. Then what? Now you can't have a good funeral. You're gonna feel like you didn't send your loved one away nicely.
Sure.
So just start by, if you find yourself in bad credit, just work on paying off the one with the high interest first, and then you build up from there. And then moving forward, you take up good credit that's going to bring something into your pocket. You need to do that one, because remember also, credit they look at your behavior. They don't look at the amounts, or they look at your behavior, or motho wa patala na. When you're taking up credit, the small one, yana we go these clothing retailers, you may be paying them 100 rand. You miss that 100 rand. Agree, if they say they want it kadi one, you must pay it kadi one at that 100 rand. But if you don't pay it kadi one, then now it affects your whole credit. You're becoming or onyaka home loan, and then say no, you didn't pay that retailer 100 rand. So imagine dilocha how do you misha 100 rand fair.
True.
Because they look at behavior. It's not about the amount. Because also banks, you are also able to negotiate. For example, now, if you take up a personal loan, and then you agree you're going to pay 3,000 rand per month, and then at some point maybe you lose your job, or your income is not as stable, you can go and renegotiate with the bank and say, hey, bank, I can't do that 3,000 anymore. Now I can only do 1.5. They will agree and then increase the term. But what you did good there is that you spoke to them. You didn't run away from them. You didn't reverse the debit order. So now then they are aware of what's happening, and then your credit still remains good, because you came, you renegotiated, and then you showed Horinge you are willing to pay. Then your credit remains good. But now, if the agreement was 3,000 and you don't bring 3,000, now you are in the wrong. So I think
no, man.
I'm going too deep now.
No, because you're actually helping someone out there in Fetuel already. What the clock which is one of the things that we once mentioned in our men's mental health episode that we shot. The most important thing which I touched in that episode was talking and finding solutions on how to solve those problems, finding solutions on how to talk and face and man up towards your financial stability and stuff, because we felt like it was important for men, and what affected a lot of men was the fact that they felt like they can't solve, especially being in debt, they can't solve kore motho o dutse ka ntlola ya goreng yone ke no elesa ya wa tshwana ba ka senkiše tronkong ba tlo no blacklist. But little do they know gore ntse o ya nako e tsamaye o tlo nyaka thuso ya batho bao. So you should have just swallowed your pride and then just deal with it and then face it and go and talk to them. Because there's a lot of people out there who think gore bona ntwe ba ka ya go banka ka sane. I mean, like this man just said it, what guys, if you feel like that debt is heavy for you, go to the bank and sit down with them. They are going to listen, and then they they are going to see what this person really does want to pay us and really is struggling. So ke solution if because as a bank they don't want to lose. They want to see their money it's in. So
that's correct.
Yeah, the little amount that you are taking to them that you can afford, do so. Mentally otlo ba sharpo. Otlo ba le matla lo ena gore khono ya majiteng. Yeah, because we go palla go ya majiteng mo gala gala ro wena ona le sekoloto.
But you see, the most important thing in that you mentioned is, as gents, we need to communicate. You know, we need to communicate. I think gents, we don't communicate a lot, and that puts us under a lot of unnecessary pressure. You know, because they were trying to impress someone, or they were trying to do something that's way above their means. So communicating and being transparent, this is who I am, and then this is what I can afford, or this is where I'm at right now. It's very important, you know. And yeah, man, we just need to be strong as men, you know. And to me, a strong man is a man who does what they say they're going to do. You know, it's about discipline. If I say I'm going to do this, I have to do it. If I tell someone what I'm going to do this, I have to do this. You know, so yeah, man, we just need to be transparent with our finances, with the people around us, and then communicate. You know, communicate with the bank, communicate with your family members. So yeah, utlo ba sharp, ba so pressurize into doing things that are way above your bracket.
One of the topics that we had before we sat down to shoot this episode was the fact that people get a lot excited once they get opportunities, and they tend to relax and more relaxing on, which comes back to that question that I asked Yawaringi. What is it that they can do with the money that they are receiving? Now, a lot of them, they think they can actually afford. What I'm actually trying to say, you find a person who is banking or out your loan. Let's say it's 100,000 rand loan, and then that person all 20K. I'm just giving an example. They call him, they tell him, or you do qualify to take that loan. But now the question is, can you afford to maintain paying back that loan? Yeah, so I think that's where a lot of people get it switched, or by them saying I qualify, that means no, I can afford. Finance. You get a Polo GTI, they say you're paying 10K per month. They say you qualify to get a Polo GTI. But the question is, can you afford? Because now the Polo GTI comes with your insurances, it comes with you maintaining, you pouring petrol, you service, all those things.
Yes,
you understand?
Yes.
I just want you to give an advice to people already. How can they work that one out and being actually safe in terms of logistics? So, just because of a qualifier loan, 200,000
Yes. Okay, what I really like what you just said, Korang Baska Doma ki. Wow. So advice Korang Ska Domea. Ska Domea. You know, and Huruska Domea. That your budget will tell you whether you can afford. The bank will tell you who you can qualify. They want business, they're in business. They need to chow that interest from you. So Oscar Domeha, you need to stick to your budget. If your 20%, I mean your 50%, yadi needs how your rent and everything. That's the one that will tell you who afford a kulu ya. wa bona. So o ska domeha ke salesperson a re GTI e na le eng or wa lebella strata or strata mara ka GTI a pe ke to ba tsena. No, but you need to look at your finances wena. You need to look at your goals, your long-term goals. That's why I say don't be a now person, be a 10 years person. Wa bona. Okay, in 10 years, ka GTI ke patela so, current ke patela so, where am I going to be? You know? You need to think about that. Yes, now you do, but in the long run, do you really afford to do that? And does it align with your goals? Does it not affect your goals? If it doesn't, then sure, go for it. But if it does, then you must settle for what your finances allow you to go for. So the main thing during Oscar Domeha, and it's a discipline thing. If you have your budget, you remain disciplined to it. You remain disciplined. This is how much I'm spending. Discipline ke horeng re na le majita mola re rekile bokae and then now tshwanetse re talletse. Discipline ke hore you must say I don't have money, gents. Nje o tseba re tsere 100k ka mo di savings. That's discipline. Because tšhelete ya di wants e fedile, tšhelete ya ho raloka e fedile. So I can't dip into the other one. So ke horeng ho se domehe, discipline. So you just have a plan, have a budget and stick to it. Yeah.
So what is the last advice or last words that you can give out to the viewers out there in terms of finances and to those households who need financial advisors?
Yeah, my last word, it's actually something that I heard from my sister. Yeah, I hope you're watching. I got this advice from her where she said that you need to define your own success. You need to define your own success in money, in whatever it is. You just need to define your own success. You know, success is not having a private jet, but for whoever, success is that. But because I don't have a private jet, I can't say I'm not successful. I am successful. I've been successful all my life. You know, when I was born, they said it was a successful delivery. I applied for crèche. They said you have been successfully admitted. Primary, your application has been successful. High school, successful. Varsity, successful. Job, successful. Am I not successful?
Yeah.
I am successful. And then if my goal for the year is to save 50,000 rand, I saved that 50,000 rand. I have successfully saved 50,000 rand. Then next year I increase my goal. It's 100,000. I want to buy two properties. Buy two properties. That's your own success. You are succeeding in your own right. You don't need anyone to tell you what success looks like. You define your own success. And then once you have that definition, you stick to it. Wasidomehe, wabali discipline and do that, you're very successful. Yeah, I'll leave them with that. So just look at yourself and block the noise, basically. Yeah.
I think they really needed to hear that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the last minutes of our TalkHere podcast episode. Should I leave a household or anyone who needs to hear this? The finances, guys, and being financially transparent with your spouses or with your partners, for those of you all who are married, it's very important because you end up getting into trouble or you end up getting into debt. You're gonna, at the end of the day, ask your spouse to come help you get out of those things. So they affect the household, guys. So you need to be financially transparent. Set up those goals. We have learned a lot today with Mr. NTSAKO here in studio, and I believe that you guys are going to take it back home. So guys, please, we need to grow. Discipline, financial decisions need to be well taken care of, guys, because now you can't be stagnant as a family, more especially when you guys are a married couple. You need to show signs of success that you guys are moving, you're doing well financially. Let's cover stingy man banna le lena man o kra monna itla man payslip ishala ka lockhareng ko gae ko mmerokong kwale. Nah. Come back home, sit down with your wife and then discuss, say, baby, this is how much I got. You as a wife, even though you are working, payslip I do le payslip mo ke le kopantse ditlhogo, and then I know there's a lot of husbands there because I spend most of the time on the streets just trying to get informations. A lot of men would say, hey, salary ke yone e re bontshang mosadi, mara our street hustles are di ba bontshi basadi. Some of these things, guys, you need to be careful of because le tlo tsena mathateng le tla la fetsa la nyaka la gopela basadi ba lena gore ba tla ba le thuša gore letswe a tla fetsa re nke lo nyaka thušwa ka. But hey, guys, this is TalkHere Podcast, and I am your host, Mr. Tsepo Marara, and I did have a good time today in studio with Mr. NTSAKO. Thank you, sir, once again for gracing us with your presence here. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I really did learn a lot. Allow me to give a shout out to our sponsors, which is Boswell Guest House. I almost forgot y'all. Boswell Guest House and High Best Production. Also, Enigma Productions as well. Those are our main sponsors of TalkHere Podcast. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a good one and have a blessed day and a week. Thank you.
Thank you.